long did it take you to get here?
Like 12 hours.
Farthest distance I've traveled is 7.5 hours.
The longest I've ever traveled is like 10 hours. Anywhere from half an hour till 8 hours.
I'm from West Palm Beach, Florida. Just came up yesterday, and I wanted to see what New Jersey was about.
Just call around, figure out who's going where and who's doing what, and get in the back of somebody's, 71 Cutlass and go with them, and chip in $5 for the gas.
It's not the destination, it's the journey. It just gives you an excuse to get in your car and drive 800 miles, that's all. See the world, see what's out there. Don't just sit at home and watch TV. Go someplace.
They would impound some of my sound system. They would lock me up over the weekend, so I don't do any of the parties. I would be surveyed and followed everywhere. I would have county court injunctions against me not to go into specific areas.
I've been at parties where the cops have just come in and thrown the power, and it's not right because they just walk in, they see a whole bunch of kids, they think we're out of hand, they shut it down, but they really don't know what's really going on.
My brother's a cop, by the way.
Oh, really?
He's a detective, a narcotics detective.
Which department? In New York City?
In New York City.
And how does he feel about what you're doing?
He is, we're black and white. He wants it not to happen, and, the cops definitely think it's the worst thing ever to happen.
There were some parties I used to be in, and there's places just come in and just batten the Technics 12s in the mixer, and if you just be looking at shock horror,
I think it just scares them. You see, 1,000 18-year-old kids on the street at 8 o'clock in the morning, looking like freaks. It's pretty scary to Joe, white guy, policeman, who's 50 years old, and I think it scares them to death.
Because they know there's an inherent danger of people understanding and appreciating alternate ways of being, which is that they could turn around and laugh them out of existence.
They tried to shut down the party at the Federal Building because they thought there was bombs in the bass bins. That the bass frightened them. They thought something was wrong with the sound system.
So if you have people gathering for whatever reason in one place, in a semi-legal way, which means that they have a different bond and they've already chosen to step outside the rules of those in control, then you have at least a potential breeding ground for alternate ways of being and a refusal to accept that imposed from above.
I think what really alarms the government is that it's completely outside of anything that they can put their hands on. They can't make money off of it, they can't control it, they can't sell it, they can't, it's so beyond them that it's a threat.
There's all these new restrictions on gathering. What we've run into in California is you can't have a party on public land. You can have 300 people with motorcycles tearing it up, but you can't have 50 kids with speakers.
This one makes drum sounds. Okay, so the drums are going. This is my favorite thing. This is my TB303. It's sort of like my electric guitar. And it was originally designed to do bass lines. So if you can believe it or not, this is supposed to be like a bass guitar here.
Never actually thought I was going to play electronic music until my wrist went out on me playing my drum kit, and all of a sudden I wasn't able to play my drum kit anymore. So I'm like, oh my god, what do I do? And I moved to an electronic kit just because I was able to play it without hurting myself.
Languageless philosophy is so that the music is not defined by any barriers. Language can create barriers. It creates what you are supposed to think about during the song is, ooh baby, baby, I love you so, or whatever. But
Define baby, define love, and define so.
Yeah.
Right. I think there's a feeling of hope, perhaps, that trying to express, and maybe at its simplest.
And why do you think that's important?
Because it's really a lot easier for me to fall into despair than it is to look up. So the trick is to keep looking up.
There's nothing worse than feeling lonely in a big world out there. I think dance music in some senses acts as a catalyst to just bring people together.
This counterculture operates in a way that is much closer towards how humans are supposed to be working with each other.
There is an implicit politics to the rave scene that people are living their lives in ways which are basically unsatisfactory to them. They're not enjoying their lives, they're not having fun, they're feeling alienated from other people, they don't feel like they have a community. And that people go out to raves and they find, or better yet, are making some of the things that are missing in their lives, in their everyday lives.
Which was always part of our take on it. It wasn't just the experience. The experience was a demonstration of an idea, and that the idea was a way of life, and that it shouldn't just stop on Saturday night. It should be a moment of commitment to forever changing yourself.
It's like a fantasy land. It's like my escape from the real world. Like, the real world is rude and nobody wants to talk to you and everybody wants to take advantage of you, and you go to a rave and everybody just wants to be your friend.
They're rebelling against being pissed off and rebelling against being surrounded by assholes. So they want to be not pissed off and they want to be nice.
And you're bonding with thousands of people that kind of share the same ideas that you do.
It's a place where people all over the world can gather.
There's great vibe here.
And unite as one.
Here is a place that I can feel 100% comfortable and safe.
It was like almost a feeling of going to a big family party. You know what I mean? Like you have big holiday parties or whatever.
I didn't have to change to fit this certain way. This way sort of came to me and came around me.
You're just like, God, I want to be a part of this group. They're so loving and happy. It's like a family. You can't help but fall into it.
At one point, I felt like I was a raver, you know what I'm saying? I got all into the happy and love, you know? And then, I don't know, it just drove me crazy after a while.
Why is that?
Because, like, I don't know, you just can't love everybody.
I'd fallen in love with were like the sort of naive sense of celebration, the open-mindedness.
And there's this sort of return to infantilism in the fact that there are some real basic pleasures that just get wiped off the map. We're not supposed to talk about that like people really enjoy.
It makes me feel like a kid again when I was a little kid. I don't need to get dressed real nice or anything. I don't have to impress nobody. It's just my little toys I play around with. This is out of batteries. I put it on the floor and I dance.
Who is Elvis?
I played a show out in the desert in California, and after the show, this girl came up to me, and she said that her name was the Fairy Princess, and she gave me this, and I still have it. It's very cool.
We like the little candy bracelets, and we carry around stuffed animals because kids just want to have fun, and kids just want to be nice to everybody and just want to love everybody, you know, and that's kind of what we're trying to capture.
It's like that book, Everything You Wanted to Know You Learned in Kindergarten, that guy wrote. Be nice, you know, play fair, hold hands crossing the street, like whatever it is. Like, we're just keeping some of that, you know, and, you know, growing up doesn't mean, you know, becoming a jerk.
Inside the ever change and rearrange this song. We're gonna give you up to next. Yeah.
was in school, I never really had a focus point. It was more of I was being associated as a troublemaker because my energies were either being, targeted as someone, who was a nuisance. Do you know what I'm saying? Because I didn't want to read a book which told me about A, B, C, and D. But I got thrown out of school, and I stumbled into a building which they called the Basement Project. This place was like an environment which took people like myself and gave us the option. I didn't have money to be able to buy equipment. And they bought a drum machine, they put it in front of me and said, yeah, here you go. And that's when I decided to use the machine and to learn and educate myself about the language of, making music through, computers.
Front row, can I say? Wait for the signal, wait for the signal, wait for the signal.
And in hip hop, what they would do, have two turntables and a mixer, and take the instrumental break where the record is, just rolling along, and then bam, it just breaks down into just drums. Then they would just take the same copies, and using the crossfader to extend the instrumental break, just by extending the drum section so the MC could rap on top of it. And that's what attracted me to live drums, was the break beat. From the heart. We're not manufacturing. That's all I can say.
When digital technology became cheaper and accessible, it enabled all of us to be able to go out and for not many pounds or dollars to be able to buy a tiny little studio setup and start recording yourself. And techno music, in a sense, when it really kicked off maybe 7 or 8 years ago, really empowered people again, empowered a lot of young kids to be able to put their own records out and ignore the major labels and think, we can press 2,000 white labels and sell them in a week.
All you need at this point is a computer and some software, and you can make a record.
I can make a track, stoned in my underwear on my bedroom, and it could sound 10 times better than fucking, $100,000 worth of studio equipment and studio time and professional musicians can sound, because I can make a sampler sound that good too, and it's that scares people.
The origins of punk, which I was fortunate enough to be hanging around as well, there was an enthusiasm for taking back the means of production. I think with techno we're seizing the means of perception.
Marijuana is the flame, heroin is the fuse, LSD is the bomb, LSD is the bomb.
Live video mixing, so we have sources of videotapes playing back, and we choose and mix the video live to whatever the vibe of the music and the environment that's happening at the time.
The world has changed. Beautiful world of LSD.
We practiced 3 little songs for the very first German TV appearance. We made a session in the rehearsal room. And there was an original drum set, a very old one, very damaged, not